like this because this is part 2, y'all. Okay, roll it, smoke it if you got it. So, why I've decided to move into my car. I need some water. Could you bring me some water? Yeah, so why I've decided to live in my car. The ultimate reason is because I want to. That's it in a true nutshell, is because that's what I want to do. Part of it is out of necessity, yes, but part of it is simply that that's what I want to do, because I could go out there and work myself into the ground and keep doing what I've been doing as far as killing myself to pay my bills and debt. And yes, I'm going to drink out of this water jug, so don't judge me. I don't drink enough water. My car. Doing it because it's what I want to do. And how do I know is what I want to do? Because I've spent the last 5 or so years obsessing and looking at people living this lifestyle. You know, the van lifers, the tiny house people, tiny house owners, the shipping container houses, van life, and then more recently car life, because I feel like, you know, if you can do it in any kind of vehicle, you can do it in any kind of vehicle type situation. And it's just something that has had great appeal to me. Back in 2019, I was this close to purchasing my van, and opted to move to the Midwest instead of doing that. And so I put this on pause. Now, why I went to the Midwest is a whole nother story time in and of itself, and if you want to hear about it, it was horrible. If you want to hear about it, you know, just let me know in the comments below, whatever. I can make a video about it. I've gotten over it at this point, so I'm okay talking about it. We can do that. But my point is, back in 2019, I was one step away, and by one step away, I mean I had the money in my pocket, the van was on the lot, I had spoken to the owner, the title was in my hand. That's how close I was. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to Texas. And I walked away and put that on hold. And now we're finally back at a place where I feel comfortable, because it isn't that I couldn't have done this sooner. I could have, but I wasn't mentally prepared for it. And let's be real, when you are making a drastic lifestyle change, it requires mental preparedness. It requires mental onboardness to do it, because you jump from one environment to an environment extremely different. It is very jarring, and it can do some damage to you if you're not prepared to do it. Now, there are absolutely people who have not had the opportunity to prepare to do it, who literally, like, overnight was like, this is what I'm gonna have to do, and I'm gonna have to make it work along the way because I don't have time to prepare. And, you know, my heart goes out to all of y'all. Kisses. I'd hit up and do a hit for you if this was lit, but it's not. You know, I admire your strength and your determination to make it when everything, you know, has gone to hell. I have been fortunate enough to have time to prepare for car life. So a couple months ago, I left my job because I got injured. I had tennis elbow in both of my arms, and if you've never had tennis elbow or some kind of elbow injury in which you can't bend your arms, then you don't understand. But But when you're walking around with it like a T-Rex because you can't straighten your arms out, it's a problem. It's a huge problem, especially if you drive, a manual car like I do. I had to leave my job. Is the bottom line. I had to leave my job. And I am the type of person that will have a job lined up and secured before I leave a current employer, so I can give my 2 weeks notice and just go from one job straight to another with no gap in between. But because of how quickly my physical ability was deteriorating, I knew that if I tried to stick it out before I found a new job, one, I was going to be fired because I couldn't actually physically do my job anymore. That was going to be a given. Two, I would be making the injury worse, possibly to the point that even if I found a new job, I would not be able to do that job either because of the recovery time needed from the previous job. Okay. And then number three, I needed time to recover. So leaving my job without having another job lined up was in no way ideal. And I definitely thought I would find something sooner than I did. I really thought I would, but I didn't. And so as a result, I wasn't paying rent. I wanted to pay my rent, but I wasn't paying my rent. Like, I would pay like March. What comes after March? April, March, April, May, April. Okay. I had paid like March's rent on like April 1st type situation. Like, I'm a month behind on everything. It wasn't just rent, it was rent. It was my car payment, it was my insurance. It was literally every bill was a month in default because I wasn't working and I wasn't on unemployment, and getting on unemployment would take a significant amount of time. On top of that, it's a lot harder to get on unemployment if you have quit your job. If you were fired, it's a little bit different, but when you quit, you know, it's that much harder to do it. So I really didn't pursue that as hard as I could have. Also, I was convinced I was going to find something soon. And so I did not exhaust every avenue that was available for me. And then I got a job and I was able to pay the rent. But it was a part-time job, which meant, you know, some bills were getting paid, but not all of the bills were getting paid, and it has just added up. And so currently at month 3 now of me not paying rent, which obviously they're not gonna let you stay somewhere if you're not paying rent. So I'm being evicted, and it's crazy to say you want to feel shame. I wanted to feel more shame than I do about the situation, but I also know how hard I have pushed and worked over the last 5, 6, 7+ years. I know how much I have put in to keep going, to stay on top of everything, to pay everything on time, to protect your credit at all costs, whether it means your mental, physical health. You do what you have to do to take care of that. That is the most important thing in life. And I did all the right things, you know. I did all the responsible adult things that you're supposed to do, and my credit still suffered for it. And at that point, it broke me. Like I'm killing myself to stay on top. And because my debt to income ratio is so high, even though everything is paid and everything's paid on time, because it's so high, my credit is still taking a hit, consistently taking a hit, and it just went way downhill after that. Not that I just gave up paying bills and stuff, but it was like I can't keep up, and I understand I can't keep up, and something's gonna have to change. And so that's where we are now. And like I said, it is somewhat by force, because after that second month of realizing, okay, this isn't gonna get paid, because like most people, I think I just like a little side rail. People who live in poverty understand what I'm talking about. I know they do. I guess my situation is no different from theirs. I mean, obviously some details are different, but overall there's no difference. They know that they have to pick and choose the bills they're going to pay. You pick out of priority what is the most important thing that needs to be paid, you know. and I'm making, you know, $500 a week, if that much. I think my current paycheck is $420 a week is what I'm making, and that is not enough to cover all of my expenses. And for me personally, the number one important expense is my car, because if I have a car, I can work. If I have a car, I can do Uber. I can do Uber Eats. I can do any of those little personal contracting jobs. I can do house cleaning services. I can go work for someone else. So long as I have reliable transportation, I can do those things. So my car was the most important thing to me. I can live in my car, you know, that's the most important thing to me, versus my apartment. If I do everything I can to keep my apartment and my car gets repossessed, well, now I don't have a job. I don't have a way to go get a job. I don't have a way to go do a job. Yes, I could possibly work from home, but that's not a given. You know, having a car means you can go make money right now, today, to take care of those things. So me having an apartment, yes, that's a roof over my head, but that's all it is. Me having a car is a roof over my head, food in my belly, money in my pocket. So much more important to me. So I didn't pay the rent. And I would have if I could have, but I couldn't, so I didn't. And if you're in that situation, don't feel bad about it, because you've done everything you can, and the people around you know that you've done everything you can, even if what you could do was way less than what people may think you should have been able to do. If you in your heart know that it was the best you could do, you shouldn't feel bad if your circumstance or position in life is where mine is now. So doing this is taking a strain off of my mental health significantly. I've had some really, really bad depressive episodes. I mean, I've dealt with major depression since childhood, and I mean since before teenager years. I was depressed and taking medication for depression, so I know all about it. And I can feel that lifting. I can feel that fog coming up. I can feel that release building, that pressure for the release to build, and I'm just so ready for it to burst, like you don't even know. And so I'm doing this for my mental health. Definitely doing it for my mental health, and because it's what I want to do. I want to travel, and one of the cheapest ways to travel, if you're not going to do like straight up backpacking, is going to be using your vehicle, using a common vehicle to travel and go to places and not have to pay hotels, not have to pay, you know, hotels, motels, Airbnbs, hostels, dormitories, whatever, not having to pay for housing because your vehicle is your housing. It just makes sense to me. So that's more. Now the last and final reason, I was going to move into my car anyway, but the timeline for moving into my car has shifted, because I'm starting a new job. I'm starting starting a new job, and this job is a few hours away, and it just makes sense to live a few hours away than it does to commute a few hours every day. Like, gas is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination if you are a regular person. And that's really it. That's really it. I definitely feel like I've talked enough. This movie as a movie at this point. This video is pretty long. I knew I was gonna do some rambling because, you know, this makes that happen. I'm gonna go now. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate you, taking the time, because you could be watching this or doing whatever the hell you want to be doing right now, and instead you're looking at Norma G. So thank you for that. So like I said, to those who checked out earlier, thanks for being here. You know, I really appreciate it. Be well, be safe, be blessed or cursed, whatever floats your boat. You know, love it all. Just do what you got to do. Thanks for being here. I hope you tune into the next one. If you want to hear more about my story and more about my new journey of van life and my crafting on the road and all the things that I intend to do while living alternatively, and I'll see you in the next one.